Are we live? Are we live? There we go. Hello, everybody. It's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Thanks for joining us here on YouTube. Be sure to check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com for everything Royal Caribbean related. RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Happy Monday. Every Monday, we are with you live right here on YouTube. Thank you for joining us here. And we're going to answer as many Royal Caribbean cruise questions as we can, starting with the most important question. How many days until your next Royal Caribbean cruise? Keep your countdown in chat. Let us count down together. I have 6 more days until I get to go on Wonder of the Seas. Very excited to get back on Wonder. It has been a while since I've been on that ship. And will it still be my favorite Royal Caribbean cruise ship after sailing on Icon? We'll have to wait and find out. We'll have to see on that. We had some amazing super chatters that before the broadcast began. Also, a big shout out to our good friends at MEI Travel. I see Jennifer Kellen in the chat. I see Jen Green in the chat. Matt Hintz is in the chat. There may be others as well. Always glad to have our friends joining us here. Well, let's answer some cruise questions. Start with Matthew Ramo. Matthew, thank you for the super chat before the broadcast began. 54 days till my very first cruise, and it's an Icon. Wondering about the picture packages and what size package would be good for Icon. For the photo packages, it depends. Part of it as a first-time cruiser, I might lean towards not getting it until you see if you really want it. You can always buy a photo package on board, but if you were going to get one, I feel like it's either you get the unlimited or nothing. Because I feel like then you're gonna go all in or not. But that's my opinion on it. Maybe others have different thoughts on how that works. Desiree Hall, thank you for the super chat. Micah Rude, thank you for the super chat. Hey Matt, I am curious. I found there are Sky Class junior suites on some Oasis class ships. While the name implies it should have Sky Class benefits, what benefits do they really have? It basically means it's like a grand suite. It has all the benefits of a full suite. Not being a C class. That's only available. I know that's on Icon. Do they have the Sky Class junior suites on maybe Utopia now? But anyway, it wasn't a thing on the older ones. But basically, it has the same level of benefits as a grand suite. So it has concierge suite lounge, concierge access, priority disembarkation, things like that. Ian Hunter, thank you for the super chat before the broadcast began. I know online check-in starts at midnight of your ship, but is it exactly where your ship currently is or starting port? Have a European cruise in May, but check-in days will be in the Caribbean. I believe it's where the embarkation port, not where your ship currently happens to be wherever it is in the world, if that makes sense. So thank you, Ian, for the super chat. Robert Carmody, do they check age in Solarium? Daughter is 17. They really don't unless somebody really makes a stink about it, Robert. The minimum age is 18 for the Solarium. And I got to be honest, I don't think your 17-year-old daughter really wants to hang out there anyway. It's just not much of a vibe going on. So, but it is 18. So that should be enough reason to have your daughter. If you want to be with your daughter at the pool, all cool. There's plenty of seats over by the main pool. Michael G, thank you for the super chat. 27 days till Odyssey. Wanted to share. My wife and I already have the 7 p.m. middle seating for the main dining room. We book My Time dining and then immediately go on the cruise planner and book each night My Time at 7 p.m. And listen, that's been a workaround, Michael. Part of the reason why they implemented this middle dining time that's coming this year to all ships is because there were some people, Michael. Now, you did it and you were cool with it. Some people wanted 7 o'clock, but they also did not want the issues, if you want to call it that, with My Time dining. But you're absolutely right. You could have done kind of a workaround, if you will, to get that. Nicole Lombardi, 13 days till Mariner of the Seas for her and her mom. Getting excited. Awesome. Nicole, thank you for the super chat. And Michelle Taylor, thank you for the super chat earlier. Michelle, 11 days till she leaves Florida and 13 till she sets sail. It's amazing how Nicole and Michelle always have the super chats lined up just perfectly. Lauren, the legend Lisco. Lauren, thank you for the super chat. 5 days till Odyssey. How is it still only Monday, right? Listen, as someone who has a cruise this weekend as well, these days drag on. Lauren, we are just missing each other. You'll be in Coco Key on Sunday, and I'll be there on Monday. So we're missing each other just by a day there. But since you're on Odyssey, if you ever have, my neighbors will be on board, Kenny and Erica. So if you see them on there yelling at their kids, Samantha and Alexa, well, then you can know that they're friends with Matt. Love it. Let's see here. Robert, picking up on the Solarium answer, don't intend for the 17-year-old to actually hang out there outside of food and say, oh, that's totally fine, Robert. that is fine. It's the issue is just, hanging out in the solarium, going in the pool, taking up lounge chairs, something like that. So I think you're totally fine there. Next question is, let's see here. We're doing our best here to catch up, ladies and gentlemen. Ann Whipple, Ann, thank you for the super chat. 56 days till Mariner. How many special restaurants are on Mariner? I believe it's, 4 if you only count Chef's Table. Chops, Jamie's, Izumi, Johnny Rockets. Everyone always forgets about that one. Playmakers. Actually, there's more than 4. Chef's Table. So 6, depending on your definition, I suppose, of specialty restaurant. I mean, they're all specialty restaurants, but Johnny Rockets, it's a specialty restaurant, but most people don't think about it in that same regard. If that makes sense. I see Warren is in the house. I see Don and Judy Goldstein are here. Christine Del Rossi is here. Wendy is here. Nick Wong. Lots of great friends joining us here. And if you're brand new, this is the first time you've ever been in my YouTube live, actual live. You may watch the replay, but if this is your first time actually live here, type new in capital letters. Tony Diaz, do not type new or I'm going to ban you. Let's see here. Lots of great countdowns, guys. Awesome. Paul wants to know, are they canceling La Bidie? No, not yet anyway. There was some people who posted, Paul, it's interesting, about an hour or two ago, I saw on Reddit, there were some posts from people who said their shore excursions in La Bidie were canceled, which I can kind of understand, I guess. They had a few shore excursions in La Bidie that would leave La Bidie. I remember there was a fishing excursion, and there was one that take you to see a local village. Anyway, maybe they're cutting back on that. But as of right now, the recording of this live video, no stops have been canceled. Adventure Motion. How does the North Star work? Do I need a reservation to a lineup? If it's a sea day, then there's a cost and you reserve it via the app. If it's a port day, then it is. Wait, do I have that backwards? No, that's the right way. Then on port days, it's free. In either case, you reserve it via the app Adventure Motion. So in the Royal Caribbean app, once you connect to the Wi-Fi on board the ship, you can make reservations on there. Let's see here. Vinny, my family are terrified to cruise. How do I convince them that cruising is safe? Great question, Vinny. And this is a pretty common thing. I'm not sure what specifically your family is afraid of. A lot of time for people who've never cruised before, sometimes they're afraid of being out in the middle of the ocean. They may be afraid of getting sick on board. There's a variety of irrational fears that are out there about cruising. And I would tell you, there's a couple things you can obviously show. Number one, YouTube is great for this. Whatever their fear is, this would be more helpful if I knew exactly what the fear was. But you could probably start showing them things. A lot of times people feel the most common concerns. People who've never cruised before, they feel trapped on board the ship. They're going to be bored. Things like that, and you can show them videos. Detail. Listen, this ship is way bigger than you think. This is not some fishing boat somewhere. Seasickness, that's another common concern. Use empirical evidence. Show them, look, here's an example of why that's not the case. But the bottom line is cruising is a very safe method of vacationing and travel. Yes, I mean, again, you have to go into whatever issues they particularly have, but yeah, I would definitely, we'll try to help you out here. Jessica, thank you for the super chat. 6 Days to Explore. Favorite item at Izumi? I assume you mean sushi since you're on Explorer of the Seas. I would have to say, man, that's a great question. I love either the sashimi or the sushi sampler. There's a chef sampler right in the middle of the menu. And there's sashimi and there's chefs. I like that because there's good variety of fish offered. Some people don't like sashimi. Sashimi is when the sushi is just the fish, no rice at all. So whichever, there's also a sushi sampler, the chef's sushi sampler, which then has nigiri on it. Anyway, that is that's my I like what either of those. They're more or less the same. Those are my go-tos right there for sure. If you're in the mood for a really big roll, the Futamaki roll is fantastic. Andrea from Maryland, welcome. Jennifer Vargas, if you had to choose between a lure, big ship, no water slides, or Mariner, small ship that has more fun for the kids to do, which would you choose? It's funny that it's kind of, it's not funny, but it's amusing to me, Jennifer. because Allure is still an Oasis class ship. Like, I mean, these ships are built for families, right? But I get that. It really comes down to the water slide question, because there's still plenty for kids to do on Allure. Do not look at Allure of the Seas like you would Grandeur of the Seas, because that doesn't have water slides. If the issue is water slides specifically, like Matt, we really would love water slides, then obviously the choice is Mariner. But you're also overlooking a lot of other things there is to do on Allure of the Seas that I think would be fairly interesting. So, Jennifer, I would tell you, those are two really strong choices. Overall, I would probably lean towards Allure, quite frankly. But if the water slides are going to be a problem, I would one more thing to add also. While Mariner has water slides, it does not have a splashaway bay or H2O zone, whereas Allure does have a H2O zone, which is their aquatic park for kids. So forget the water slides for a second. Where will your kids spend their sea days getting wet? Would they prefer to be in the pool? Would they prefer to be like in a splashaway bay type experience, right? Or water slides? Because the water slides are cool, but like after like 3 or 4 runs, I mean, I think most kids probably are done, and also because they're Alliance. Whereas I think there's a lot more repeat value with having a water park, and to be fair, Allure does have that. So I guess Allure. Although I do love Mariner. I really, really love Mariner of the Seas. Let's see here. What's your preference on when on Northstar, at sea, or import? I would do import. If it's free, do the free one. At sea does go over the side more. I think it's overrated. I think once you get up there, you'll get the same experience. It's fine. Do the free one. Totally good on that. Jamesy65, thank you for the super chat. 5 hours till I get on Ovation for a 10-night cruise. Thanks for all the tips. Looking forward to sailing Royal again. Awesome. Have a great time, man. Only 5 more hours. Good luck. Well, I say good luck sleeping, but I'm not sure you're going to sleep at this point. I think you're just ready to go. Plus, I think it's also Tuesday morning in Australia. What is my go-to place at Cozumel and why? Paradise Beach. Full disclosure, they don't pay me anything. We have a partnership there, but I don't make any money off them. Anyway, I've always liked Paradise Beach. Good value, good choice of things that are available. So yeah. Holly's got the post-cruise blues, man. Polly, but the post-cruise blues. They're like ex-girlfriends. There's only one way to get over them, and that's to book another one. Or get another one, rather. So book another cruise is the only way around that. David, thanks for your advice. I checked the price of my August cruise on Wonder, found the price drop, saved $600. Dude, that is amazing. Daryl, is it safe to take a taxi in Aruba? Yes, I've done it many times. Never had any issues there. I mean, obviously there's, I'm not promising you anything. There's risks everywhere, but I certainly would not personally think twice about getting a taxi in Aruba. Let's see here. Debbie, going to Mexico. Do you feel it's still safe to go to Paradise Beach stand ship? Oh, it's very safe. I mean, again, just like the answer to Aruba, there are risks, but would I, Debbie, have any qualms with taking my kids, my wife, to Paradise Beach and taking a taxi there? Absolutely not. I'd have no qualms at all. I'd be there in a heartbeat. Pilot Dave in the house. How are you, Dave? Hope all is well. Ronnie Bickers Jr. Ronnie, thank you for the super chat. 47 days till Mariner. I always thought there was such a little difference between Platinum and Emerald tiers. Correct. Any ideas of making Emerald step up from Platinum? I doubt it. I think, quite frankly, that is intentional. That it's a stepping stone. There isn't much, but hey, it's something. So, yeah, you're right. You're not wrong on that. Basically, you're getting to Diamond. That's where it's really at. Tom Stidman. Tom, thank you for the super chat. 7 days till alert. My room is broken. Like there's no water, and I can't get any help. Can I leave the ship before it leaves? Afraid once I'm stuck. No, but honestly, dude, that scenario isn't going to happen. Have I had issues? I've been in cabins, Tom, in which there's been no hot water, or actually in one cabin, the no hot water one was on Wonder, believe it or not. We had one other situation where there was a broken pipe and there was water leaking into the cabin. In both those situations, they mitigated it. They have plumbers and electricians and contractors on board the ship whose job it is to keep the ship up to date and obviously address those kinds of issues. So you're not going to go a cruise without water in your cabin. They're going to fix it. They're going to make it right. I'm not saying they're going to do it like snap their fingers and Oompa Loompas come out and sing you a song and, we're going to fix it. But they really take those stuff seriously, Tom. So I think your scenario is extremely unlikely, if that makes sense. Nick, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Allure back-to-back in 55 days. If I have the unlimited dining package, can I order food to go from especially restaurants like Azumi? Yes, generally, yes. I've been able to do that. If they were super busy, Nick, like if the restaurant was slammed, they might say we can't do it. We're too busy. But I have found, especially if you order the sushi right when they open, like around 5:30, or later at night after like 8 o'clock or so, never an issue. But I would definitely ask for it for sure. I've been able to do that many, many times. Next question, Audrey Bauer. By the way, big shout out to all our new people in the chat. Love having so many new fans in here. Fran and Philip and Brian, Earsome, Diana, Paul H 23, Cody, April. So welcome, guys. Anyway, Audrey, thank you for the super chat. Got off my first cruise on Saturday. Symphony was excellent. Photo package. I bought the 50 package photo and was disappointed. Would not purchase again. So we had a question about this earlier, and thank you for sharing your experience there. Also, shout out to crew member MX. Okay. Oh, is it from Mexico? I don't know. But what were you disappointed with the photo package? I suspect, I'm going to guess maybe that like you couldn't find 50 photos that were worth it to get, so to speak, and maybe you overpaid in that regard. But thank you for sharing your feedback there. That's awesome. Steph and Cynthia are new. Love that. Lots of new folks in the chat. And of course, our OGs. You guys are amazing. You guys know I love you guys. Teresa McChain is here. Welcome. Rich, what would be backup to canceling Labadee? We go next week and all short tours have been canceled. The backup would probably be a C day. They try when it comes to, and I'm not telling you this is going to happen. I'm just saying that in general, when they cancel a port stop at the last minute, they usually replace it with the C day. They will try to get you in somewhere else. But cruise ports are very limited. There's not a ton of choices when it comes to them because, of course, they're limited slots. And port stops are booked years in advance. So it's not like the Target parking lot where you can just roll in and get a spot all the way in the back. There's only limited choices there, Rich. So probably a C day, but sometimes they're able to be like, hey, let's go to Coco Key. Let's go to this place instead. But it's all a matter of availability and luck, quite frankly. Let's see here. Next question is from, and by the way, guys, Rich, no jet ski, no snorkeling, no fishing. Those excursions in Labadee are unnecessary. You don't need, at Coco Key and Labadee, you don't need shore excursions over there. There is plenty to do within the confines of Labadee or Coco Key. You can have a great time. I never book it. I mean, I'll book a cabana. Those are fun to do. But you don't need, all those things are, in my opinion, unnecessary. It's not like Cozumel or Nassau or San Juan, in which there's much more of a dependence on third parties. So you're not walking around, you're hanging out. It's a beach day. So enjoy that. Look at it that way. And you'll be saving money along the way. Audrey, thank you again for the super chat. Slayer, my 15-year-old hung out there for hours, just loving the quiet. It was empty most of the time. Loved it, but would not buy the photo package again. Well, thanks for sharing the experience with the photo package. And I'm glad that, lesson learned. There are worse things to waste your money on. But, hey, there you go. Let's see here. Mark is new. If you book a back-to-back cruise in the same cabin for both cruises, you have to disembark and then re-embark, or can you just stay on the ship? You must stay on the ship. The good news, Mark, is that you leave all your stuff in your room. Between cruises, you will report to a special area with other people who are doing back-to-backs, and Royal Caribbean will escort you off the ship and then back on. It's like a Coast Guard rule. They have to get a 0 count on the ship. But in many cases, it's a very quick turnaround. So you're literally the last one's off, first one's back on board. Jonathan Miller, can I use my T-Mobile iPhone to make a call home from Coco Key without connecting through the ship? You can, but you're going to, yes, you can, because at Coco Key there's roaming and you have T-Mobile, and T-Mobile through the T-Mobile plan that I don't have, but I understand you guys get like free international roaming in a lot of places. You got to check with your carrier. The answer is yes, there is a cell connection out there, but you want to double check that your plan is included in the Bahamas. The internet's terrible with the roaming option, but it's totally fine for making a phone call. So there you go. Susan Westfall, thank you for the super chat. Do you need a reservation for dinner at the Solarium Bistro on the Oasis? It's just a good idea to make one. You don't need one, but it's one of those restaurants. It's probably not there's no reason not to, but definitely not one. It's not like Izumi Hibachi where it's like, if you don't have it, you're not getting in there. So yeah. Shoshana, good to see you. Thank you for the super chat. Best specialty restaurant for a family if you don't eat shellfish or pork. 62 days to Harmony. Chops. Chops is pretty much all beef. So that's a top one. Ooh, Harmony, 150 Central Park. I don't eat shellfish or pork, and there's a great beef tenderloin for two on there. There's some good vegetarian options as well. I prefer 150 personally, but in terms of being a crowd pleaser, Chops Grill is hard to. It's all steak. You know what I mean? So that should fit the bill, so to speak. John Lusk. John, thank you for the super chat. Your review of Hideaway Beach looks fantastic. Booked it. Nice, dude. I'm going back to Hideaway Beach when I go on Wonder of the Seas. And I'm so looking forward to it. My wife and some of my friends will be joining me on there, and I think we're going to have a great, great time. Lucy of the Seas. Lucy, thank you for the super chat. I don't see a message from you, Lucy, but I will keep an eye out for you. Lucy, I mean, with a name like that, how can I possibly overlook that? Lucy, thank you for your generosity. Brittany Lang, thank you for the super chat. 200 days till Alaska, an ovation. But the question is not Royal Caribbean related, but have you ever been on Disney cruise, and what was your experience on the ships? Yes, before I ever cruised on Royal Caribbean, I cruised on Disney. I did about 4 or 5 Disney cruises back in the day, back when they were expensive instead of stupid expensive like they are now. I always enjoy them. I just thought the pricing was ridiculous on them. So I just that's why I just like, all right, I'm done here. Beyond that, I say the general consensus, and I base this on, by the way, we have, of course, Brittany. I think you know this because you've been here before. We have a sister site, cruise.blog, and we have a couple of different writers who go on Disney. Haley and Jody have both done Disney cruises recently. Anyway, Disney's great. The problem is you're paying a lot for a Disney cruise. You're paying a lot for the name, in my opinion. The experience is, especially from a family cruise experience, is very similar to Royal Caribbean. So, Brittany, if your question is kind of like, hey, I want to go on a family cruise because I'm taking kids with us on board, don't default assume Disney is the top choice out there. I would very much argue Icon is a equally good, if not superior choice, especially considering that depending on which Disney ship you're looking at, you can't compare Icon of the Seas to like to the Disney Wonder, which is like 30 plus years old, or around, I don't know how many years, somewhere around there. Anyway, that's talking about apples and oranges. I mean, that's apples and bowling balls, different, quite frankly. So keep that in mind as well. Bailey 7, thank you for the super chat. Mason Jar Wonder's my favorite bar so far. Madam, I agree. I'm sad that it's not on Icon. Agreed. Is there anything comparable on Icon? Good question. The dueling pianos, it doesn't have the same. I mean, dueling pianos is fantastic. I think the bar is better on Mason Jar, but the entertainment and bar thing, dueling pianos is what you're looking for, Bailey 7. So, but I agree 100%. Let's see here. Martin, thank you for the super chat. I cruise solo, so eating in the dining room, especially restaurants like Chops, etc., has not appealed to me in the past. But what do you think about getting a dining package, taking money off options like Playmakers? I would say that if you were going to eat at Playmakers every day, it might make sense. The problem is you're only getting $20 a day on that, Martin. So it depends on how much the package is. I mean, you can do the easy math. You can go there once a day, $20. So if that doesn't add up, then it's not worthwhile. I mean, obviously, I understand what you're trying to say there, but you want to make sure the math works. Otherwise, you're better off just paying a la carte, 20, whatever you're going there for Playmakers. I suspect, my guess without doing any math, is that Playmakers alone as a dining package would not be a money-saving operation, especially because you can only go there once a day. Like Chops Grill, forget the pricing aside, Chops, you can go there for lunch and dinner if they were open for lunch and dinner. Whereas at a Playmakers, you couldn't. Now, obviously, if you were going to mix in other restaurants, you were going to go, you didn't say what ship you were going on. But, if you were going to, Izumi or some other restaurant, you work that in. Yeah, I mean, dining packages can break even, so to speak, on the value, even without going to a restaurant every single night with it. So, good question. Let's see here. Anthony, I had a question. Don't know if it's out of your league, but on Icon last week, we rescued 14 Cubans off the coast of Mexico. Do they just get a free cruise? How does that work? They don't get a free cruise. Usually what happens is, in rescue situations, this is a generalization. I can't say this is specifically what happened on your sailing. But basically what happens is they take the people that they rescue, they put them in a spot on the ship, I don't know where, and then they drop them off either at the next port or the Coast Guard or some other government body comes by and picks them up. Because the first thing that Icon is going to do, if this hasn't happened already, is they're going to radio the Coast Guard or somebody and be like, hey, there's a boat here, there's some migrants. What do you want us to do? And usually the Coast Guard will be like, all right, we can't get out there until whatever. Pick them up and then we'll take them from there. So something along those lines. Good question, though. Bill, thank you for the super chat. 13 days till Anthem. I see some sailing cruise compasses doing brunch instead of lunch and sea days. This is going to be a change fleet-wide. I don't know if it'll be fleet-wide, but I have seen that as well, Bill. I remember Mariner and Odyssey did it, and obviously Anthem here in your situation. I don't know what the impetus is to offer it or not offer it or what the delineation is, but it's not fleet-wide, but it's been around long enough that it's not necessarily I don't think it's a pattern, like in the sense like, hey, they're moving it across the fleet. It might just simply be certain food and beverage directors or hotel directors are moving in that direction. And I don't know. So I guess really what my answer is, I have no idea. Is it okay to mention your name about sitting together at dinner? Please, I would tell you this. Not only is it not a good idea to mention my name, I think it does a disservice to you. Definitely don't do that. Hey, Brittany, thank you so much for the kind compliment there. Yeah, very proud of our social team on that one. Booking another girlfriend is illegal in most places except Nevada. Oh, goodness. Dave E. Dave, thank you for the super chat. I don't see a message from you, buddy, but thank you for your generosity. New and old Funko Pop, welcome back. Thank you for the super chat. Is there enough for a 12-year-old to do on Jewel to Canada? I don't know about the 12-year-old. I mean, every 12-year-old is different. Some are more adventurous than others. I would say that, number one, on that kind of an itinerary, it's very port intensive. So you're not as dependent on the ship. Like, I'm going to wager there's not many sea days on board. So that would mean that the days you are on board, the 12-year-old could be cool with like kind of just chilling out and relaxing, right? As opposed to like there were like 6 sea days. You know, that's a long time. Also, it depends on your 12-year-old. Some 12-year-olds are like content doing their own thing. Some want to go spend all day Adventure Ocean. Some need water slides and more. It kind of depends on your 12. As a dad of a 13-year-old who was 12 not too long ago, I can tell you they are not carbon copies of each other. They're very much different. And yeah, different is probably the word I'll use here on the stream. There may be some other colorful language you might describe our loving 12-year-old children. But yeah. Let's see here. Next question. Nathan wants to book. Would you book flights with Air to Sea or through a travel agent? Well, most travel agents don't book flights for you unless maybe it's international, because airlines don't offer what's it called? Commission. And because they don't offer commission, they'd be doing it for free and like, Anyway, Air to Sea though, they can book for you. And I would say if you're doing an international flight, Nathan, if you're flying, from the US to somewhere, Europe, whatever, then Air to Sea is worth it. If you're flying domestically, like you're flying within the United States, do it on your own. There's no benefit, I think, to Air to Sea, quite frankly. I mean, there's a benefit, but I think that you're just better off on your own. Pork, Chop, and Biscuit, thank you for the super chat. Booked a grand suite in January 24 and January 25. Price check showed the price had actually doubled as of this week. Your book early advice was a big deal. I mean, look, I'm not here to talk about this. I'm just saying this advice, guys, if you want to save money on your cruise, we can rattle off 100 tips and secrets and what have you, but there is one that is consistently the best tip for saving money on a cruise, and it's this right here. You want to book your cruise as early as possible. The earlier you book, odds are the better the price is going to be, because prices only tend to go up over time. That's all. So I'm glad to hear that this worked out for you as well. Do I recommend the Key? Absolutely not. No, I think the benefits sound better than they are. I don't recommend it at all. Teresa McShane, thank you for the super chat. 3-day cruise, cheaper to prepay internet or use one free diamond day and pay for 2 days on board? It's definitely cheaper to do one free day, Teresa. In fact, I would offer one more thing for you to consider. Skip the first day. So remember, you're going to have the internet on your phone up till sail away. So you'll have the internet up till, 4 or 5 o'clock, right? And don't forget, even after sail away, you'll have a cell phone connection for about an hour or two after you leave port, because your ship is still pretty close to land, and there is cell phone coverage that extends 10, 20 miles out to sea. Anyway, if you can go from 5 or 6 o'clock at night without internet till midnight, then at midnight you buy the internet package, Now you've saved money because you're only going to get charged for 2 days. And of course, you'll have the one free day of internet. So you only pay for 1 day. That's the play right there. Now, going that long without talking to Tony Diaz on Messenger, I get it. Not easy. It's going to be really tugging on your heartstrings there. But if you can do it, that would save you some money. Ronnie with another super chat. Thank you, Ronnie. I've heard the Esplanade on Quantum Class. And that's different from the Promenade. What the difference between the two? P.S. I'm an old new person. Essentially, it's just the layout. That's all. The Esplanade has 2 levels to it, whereas the Royal Promenade on ships, except for Icon, have 1 level. And it kind of curves around. It's more of a meandering path as opposed to a hallway thoroughfare, if that makes sense. But otherwise, more similar than not. Jackie, thank you for sharing this information about Paradise Beach, which was just there on Monday, and it was great. Taxes work great both ways. Guys, do you guys want a discount code for Paradise Beach just for being a Royal Caribbean Blog viewer? We have a special discount code just for you guys that'll save you some money on Paradise Beach. I'm going to give it to you. If you use promo code RC Blog, RC Romeo Charlie Bravo Lima Oscar Golf, and I'll post it in the chat, you can save 10% off on new bookings now through May 31st, 2024 on any trip through December 31st, 2024. I think it works even beyond that, but anyway, there is the promo code. I'll put in the chat right there. So Jackie, thank you for sharing your information as well. Does Jewel of the Seas stink? I assume you mean, like, is it a poor choice as opposed to a PU option? I think, like all ships, I like the Radiance class. I think the issue with Jewel is that it doesn't have all the whiz-bang features and amenities that the bigger ships have. But for the price and itineraries it offers, it can be a good choice. It's just a matter on you, quite frankly. The 0 count is not a U.S. Coast Guard rule. Is a Customs and Border Patrol. Apologies to the Coasties out there. I usually refer to the Coast Guard as being the problem, but it's the Customs Border Patrol. Thank you, Don, for correcting me on that one. Next question is from Lucy of the Seas again. Lucy, thank you for the super chat. Do we get a crew member to attend to us with a daybed rental at Coquille, similar to Cabana attendant? Yes. That is one of the benefits you get there with the daybed. I'm not sure if you get a button to push like you do at the Cabanas, but you're supposed to get service over there. It's my understanding of it. Sylvia, how busy is Hideaway at Coco Key? I purchased Excursion. Wouldn't want to worry about not enough lounge chairs. There's plenty of chairs. Plenty of chairs. Not only that, Hideaway is hard capped. I think they cap it right around 1,800 to 2,000 people, but there is more than enough chairs and umbrellas. Now, listen, Sylvia, if you roll off the ship at 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, you're not getting a chair, a prime chair, but there will be a chair somewhere out there within Hideaway for you. So just keep that in mind. Ainsley, good to see you back. Thank you for the super chat. Is it true that as long as they're sealed, we can pack our own snacks? Yes. Wife misses the chips that Park Cafe used to have. Absolutely, yes. You can bring. We do this all the time with our kids. We bring Goldfish or Pringles. Absolutely. TC, thank you for the super chat. Is Starbucks included in Star Class? It is. Yes. That is correct. It is indeed. Like the real Starbucks kiosk is included. It's one of our favorite benefits of doing Star Class. I don't think you're going to get your money back from Star Class with Starbucks only, but it's really nice having that. Absolutely. Brian, first time cruiser on Brilliance. Is the drink package really worth it? If you can drink 6 to 8 drinks a day, now that sounds like a lot, but if you can drink 6 to 8 drinks every day, then you can make it worthwhile. And he said, well, that's that. Who could drink that much? At home, I'd agree with you. But remember, you get on board that ship. You wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. You have, a Bloody Mary in the morning. You get your coffee. Don't forget, you're going to get a coffee at Cafe Promenade or your Cafe Latitudes on Brilliance, right? You're going to get your latte, macchiato, whatever. You're up to 2 now. Then you're not going to have anything else to drink in the morning. You're cool. All right, let's go to lunch now. Maybe you have a drink at lunch. Maybe you don't. We'll take it back. Now you're going to have the afternoon. Well, it's a sea day. You're going to have 2 drinks, between noon and 5 o'clock, let's call it, right? So you're up to 4 now. Have a drink at dinner, 1 drink at dinner. Most people have probably more than 1. Now you're up to 5. You have 1 drink at the show that evening. You're up to 6. That's not including maybe you have that morning drink. Maybe you have 2 drinks at lunch. Maybe you have 2 drinks at dinner. Maybe you are out at the pub singing with your friends and, you have a couple more drinks there. Hypothetically, that could happen. You can see how that can add up quicker than it might seem. Mandy, thank you for the super chat. Less than a month out from Wonder. What would be the best thing to show my sister and brother-in-law? It's their first time cruising. By far the shows. See all the shows in the theater, in the Aqua Theater, especially the Aqua Theater, and Studio B. I think the entertainment really is what stands out about Royal Caribbean and cruising in general. And Mandy, I would book 1 or 2 specialty restaurants for sure. Let's see here. Next question. Bowling Dude, no, they have not opened yet reservations for the new train restaurant in Utopia. When they do, we'll post it at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. I don't know how to pronounce your name at all. What do you think of the revision of Allure in 25? Will there be different water slides because of Icon? There will be I'm certain there'll be water slides. I have no idea if it will just be like, Symphony and Wonder, or if it'll be like Icon. I don't think they're going to add. I think physically there's not space for what Icon has. So I think it's going to be the 3 slides, but hey, listen, I don't know. I'm just guessing, quite frankly. Mike Scudero, thank you for the super chat. Ever notice Royal Caribbean uses the same exact set list on day 1 on every ship when you board? Rick Astley never lets you down at 11 a.m. every time. I don't know about the timing, but yes, you're absolutely right that the playlist is definitely the same. But I will keep an eye out. 11 a.m. Is it 11 a.m. sharp, Mike, or like 11-ish? But yes, I've definitely heard these days, Rick Astley, there's at least 1 or 2 Taylor Swift songs. I'm pretty sure I've heard Olivia Rodrigo on board, and they play like other things. But yes, I've definitely noticed some kind of a pattern there, and yeah, for sure. Gary Bembridge's number 2 fan. Good to see you again. Thank you for this. I love the name. Watching from the Fort Lauderdale Marriott Airport Hotel post-cruise. Loved it so much. Pre-cruise, we canceled our flight and sent her to the trip. Hey, is that a great hotel? That is the Marriott Fort Lauderdale Airport is my go-to Fort Lauderdale Airport. It's not like the most exotic or most amazing hotel. It's clean. It's nice. It's reasonable pricing, and it's located right by the port. And you can walk right out of the hotel to the Dania Beach area, which has restaurants and shopping. Yeah, dude, I love that place. What do I think is the best cruise ship? The ship you're on. I mean, it seems like a lame answer, but they're all good for different reasons. It's kind of like, when you go to a bar and you say, well, what do you want to order a drink? Sometimes you order this, a beer, sometimes you order a glass of wine. It depends what you're in the mood for. And there are advantages to all of them. But honestly, whatever ship I'm on, there you go. Now, if you're a brand new cruiser, if you've never cruised before, it's like, well, listen, Matt, I've never cruised before. I don't know what I like. What should I do? In that situation, I recommend Icon class or an Oasis class ship as your first cruise. Holly Mommy, thank you for the super chat. 42 days till Radiance in Los Angeles. There was a major glitch at check-in. It took a few days to get our boarding times, which don't start till 11:30. When do we get our cruise documents and luggage tags? That comes at like 30 days, I believe. Is it 30? But it'll be there with plenty of time, Holly Mommy. So keep an eye out for that one. You'll have no problems on that one. What drink packages get lower closer to the cruise date? Maybe none. Maybe is the key word. It really depends. The pricing fluctuates all the time. This is why, if you want to buy a drink package, the tried and true method, this is what you want to do. Book it now and lock in the price. If there is a better deal in the drink package next week, next month, 3 days before your cruise, you can always cancel and rebook the drink package with no penalty. But if you wait and say, well, listen, we'll see what happens with the price, you might end up paying more because the price may never come back down. So there you go. Let's see here. Next question, John Wigap. Thank you for the super chat. Looking for a excursion in Falmouth. Dude, I have yet to find a really good tour there. If I was going to go, and I've not experienced it myself, I would check out Blue Lagoon or Blue Hole. I've heard good things about that one, but I've not been there yet. So Terry Arter in the chat. What's going on, man? What the heck is going on with your window blind? Don't ask. It went up and never came back down, or it came down the wrong way. We got to get new ones in here. Next question is from somebody. I'm going to get that for a drink. Ron Ladowski, always a pleasure to have you in here. Welcome. By the way, here's the promo code earlier for Paradise Beach. I feel like save some money on that one. That's the same combination of my luggage tag. Lauren, love the new full shipped video tour of Odyssey, especially the tip about coffee, ice cream, and the Windjammer. There you go. Love that. Shoshana, use that code for my upcoming May cruise between you and MAI Travel. Brock, thousands saved. I love that. Thank you, Shoshana. Appreciate it. Does your company offer any volunteering for high schoolers? No. I don't know if you were the one who emailed me about this, and I thought about this for like 3 days. What would you do? I mean, we have done interns before. But for a high schooler, I'm not sure what you could really do, quite frankly. So that's kind of like, that'd be like, that's the only issue. So no, but when you get to college and you want an internship, let's talk. Let's see here. Shalel, did I say this right? Welcome. Glad to have you here. Thanks for joining us. How long does it take for the Crown Anchor points to show up after the first cruise? Somewhere between 7 and 14 days. It depends. I've seen it as like sometimes it's right a week after, sometimes closer to 2 weeks, but somewhere between 7 and 14 days. Next question. Brittany Lang. Brittany, thank you for the super chat. Congratulations on hitting 100,000 on Instagram. Way to go. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Obviously, thank you for following. And number 2, thank you to our social team. Angie and Nicole spent a lot of time working on that. So glad to hear that. Let's see here. Next question. Do the WoW bands do anything other than open doors and allow payments? No. I don't know what else they really could do. Same, basically, they can do anything a CPass card can do, minus getting off the cruise ship for you're in port. Other than that, yeah. Jeffrey, we're taking the family on Wonder of the Seas on March 17th. I will be on that sailing as well. Shows are all booked, correct. Does that mean we're not able to see any shows? No, it does not. There will be a standby line, Jeffrey. So if you look at when you look in the app, I don't know if the shows are in there yet, but they'll be there before the cruise begins. Anyway, when you see the show time and it says, 7 o'clock for the effectors, if you get there at least 30, I would get there 30 minutes beforehand. You can get there earlier than that. There will be a standby line. Wait in the standby line. You will probably get in. There are standby seats available. People don't show up. Remember, Jeffrey, people make reservations and then they blow it off because they're busy doing whatever. So show up early. You should be able to still see the shows, but you need to be, I'd recommend getting in line at least 30 minutes ahead of time. So bring a drink with you is my advice. Nachi booked for Harmony next near end of April. What are your thoughts on the club? Listen, I'll give you I'm going to give you my honest opinion on this one. But I have to again mention that we have a partnership with Paradise Beach. I don't get paid by Paradise Beach, but I don't want to seem like I'm being disingenuous with you. Nachi's best thing about Nachi is that it's limited capacity. The problem is I felt like it slipped a lot. I feel like the level of service is not as good as it used to be, in the sense that people don't the servers don't like you used to be able to be in the ocean and they'd come out and bring you a drink. They don't do that anymore. I think the variety of drinks is pretty poor. It's limited beers. There is a tequila. It tastes like gasoline. I mean, it literally has to be gasoline. I'm convinced. The pool is tiny and freezing, but limited capacity. And there's nothing for kids to do over there. It's pretty boring for kids. But it's just not what it used to be. That's all. Which is better, room attendant in the morning or afternoon? I am team evening room attendant service. I like not having to worry about if I want to sleep in. I'm holding up my room attendant. But more importantly, Sarah, I like having when we go out, take a shower in the evening, because we're people that shower before we go out for dinner and a show. Anyway, come back to the room, bed is made, towel's been replenished. I prefer that personally, but yeah. Next question. Is the cup they provide for the soft drink package good enough? Should I bring something else? You can't bring anything else. It won't be useful. It's totally fine. And don't forget, Josh, you can also just you don't need the soda cup in order to get a soda from a waiter or bartender. The soda cup only really works at the machines that are on board the ship, assuming you're on a ship that has one. Bailey 7. Bailey, thank you again for the super chat. Any suggestions for staying in contact with our teen? Oldest to 13. We've had troubles with the notifications in the free app in previous groups. The app is my recommendation. If you're really worried about it, if you're like, listen, Matt, I want to have a surefire way with notifications, then buy your teen the internet package. Then you can use WhatsApp, iMessage, Facebook Messenger, that would be fine. That's your only other recourse. That's better. Otherwise, the app is your only choice in that situation. Next question. Will Utopia resemble closer to Icon or Wonder? Wonder. See, Jessica says that she enjoyed the high tea at Good Hope Estate in Falmouth. Thank you very much. Any travel agent that can handle free casino bookings for cruises? I know that MEI Travel will do that. They don't make any real money on that, but obviously the hope is that you'll also use them for when you are paying out of pocket. But yeah, MEI Travel definitely takes care of casino bookings. Hey Clint, have you ever been told to stop filming on a ship like Ben and David were told on MSC? I'm not familiar with what happened to them on there. I saw somebody mention it somewhere else on the internets. We have been, when we go on, we had this issue one time, and since then, every time we go on a cruise, when we're going to film, because we don't film on every single, I mean, we film, but like, if we're doing a ship tour, let me put it this way. If we're doing a ship tour, we specifically file paperwork with Royal Caribbean, because I can't speak for MSC, but Royal Caribbean has a form you can fill out for filming on board, and they always approve that. They're like, all right, cool, you're good to go. And that basically means that if anybody says you can't film, we say, no, we got permission to film, and they look it up with guest services, and then we're good with it. That's a lesson that we learned on there. Again, I don't know how that, I have no idea what happened in MSC, but that's been our experience. And that was, there was one time where, and I think with us especially, because everybody just films whatever, right? They just have their phone. The difference is when you're like Jenna and you have a major rig, it's pretty obvious what you're doing. And so that's why we started doing that, asking for permission, and we've never had an issue since then. Let's see here. Do I have any other promo codes? I don't, Tony. Actually, I do. We have our new Royal Caribbean Cruise Academy Pro. It's a brand new cruise course. If you're looking for, I'm not sure, there's some new people in here, but if you want to, we have a new video course that literally just came out like last week. And this is a new course that is basically, there's all these, we share tons of tips and advice here in this video over at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. But if you're brand new to cruising or brand new to Royal Caribbean or both, maybe you don't want to go digging for all that stuff. I mean, all that stuff is out there, but maybe you can't, maybe you don't want to do that. We created a video course, and we have a promo code. If you want to use the word FIRST, FIRST, over, I don't have a fancy URL for this one, but I'll post the link in the chat if anyone wants to do this. But you can save $100 on the course off the bat. It's like 50% off immediately. And it's promo code FIRST. I'm getting the URL for you guys, so apologies while I do this on the fly, but I'm trying my best to get that. Let me make sure this URL works. Okay, good. Okay, I got it now. So here's the URL. Promo code FIRST. There you go, Tony. That's all the promo codes I got. Beyond that, Warren, do you get any free cruises if you intern? I may be interested. I don't think we've ever sent the interns on a free cruise. I mean, yes, everybody that works for me ends up going on a cruise. I don't think the interns have, but I pay for the cruise, but then of course they're doing work on board, so it's a work trip. Jeff, I see the poor lonely printer still on the floor. You guys love the printer on the floor just for that. Oh goodness. Let's see here. What are the benefits of Allure to Wonder? There are different restaurants on board. There's different shows. Like what Allure has Mamma Mia, and there's no Broadway show on Wonder of the Sea. So things like that. More than anything else. My next cruise I'm going to is Wonder of the Seas, 7-nighter. We're going to Coco Cay, St. Thomas, and St. Martin. Lauren the Legend Lisco again with a super chat. I saw a rumor in the chat of a group cruise on Oasis next October for its 15th anniversary, but I don't see it on the events page. Is that an official plan? No. There's nothing official. Maybe some people are celebrating it on their own as like, hey, here's an excuse to go on a cruise. But beyond that, I'm not aware of any official things that are there. What's the lowest you've ever seen the alcohol package? $18. Back in 2019, there was a mistake, and it was $18, and that was definitely not intentional. Mark, thank you for the super chat. Got the key for Allure 3-day arrived 11:30 a.m. After subtract welcome lunch and internet costs about $25, well worth skipping the lines and quickly on the ship. I would say that, and listen, I'm not saying you're right or wrong, Mark. Here's my playing devil's advocate to you. I would tell you that the skipping the lines. Number one, if you got your check-in exactly at 45 days before your cruise, if you're Johnny on the spot and you're going to get basically the same time, and you would have been on board within mere minutes. I'm talking less than 10 minutes of anyone who had the key. Number two, the welcome lunch. True, that's an option there. Number two, you could book the welcome lunch on your own. That's like an option you can always do, right? So you could have gotten that and without paying a daily fee beyond that. But more importantly, you might say, well, do you really want a welcome lunch? Like, I mean, you can go to like the Windjammer and still have a great time in there, right? I'm just playing devil's advocate. That's all. But hey, listen, more power to you if you enjoy it. Can you explain the VIP key? Is it worth it? So we've done in their videos, Ben. I would recommend. I'm not going to do it justice here in this video here. So we have reviews of the key on our channel. Check those out. I would simply say the key basically gives you. They give you a set of benefits that promise or advise you're going to get like VIP treatment. The best benefits of the key are you're going to get priority boarding on embarkation day. So they will say, all right, if you're in the suite or you're with the key, come on board, right? You have a special time just for you. You get to drop off your luggage on embarkation day when your rooms aren't ready yet over at the theater, which is nice. You get priority times at certain signature activities like the rock climbing wall or the flow rider. And you get a welcome aboard lunch it's usually held in the main dining room, but it's the Chops Grill menu. There are other benefits. Oh, and internet. Forgot about the internet. You get everybody with the key gets a one device internet package on there. I don't think it's worth it. The benefits sound better than they really are in practice. And I think most people come away with it thinking, was it really worth it in the sense like, do you take advantage of that? Because a lot of those benefits just sound better than they are. And you can watch the videos as to why I think they sound better than they are. And also I just talked about with Mark. So there's that as well. Any guesses where the third icon will be home ported? Oh, sure. I'm going to tell you, listen, Cruise 465. I'm going to tell you where it is. No one else is supposed to. I promised Royal Caribbean I would not say this, but the third icon class cruise ship is going to be located at this place that I can't say right now. And there you have it. Let's see here. Next question. Kevin, I love watching you every week, but I'm the only one who wants to go on a book a cruise every time I watch. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you. That I'm doing my job, man. That is awesome. I love that, Kevin. Thank you for being here, buddy. Appreciate you. What do the interns do? Mostly updates and edits. Depends on obviously their background. Most of our interns have a writing background. Jason, thank you for the super chat. On Icon next March, where's a good embarkation lunch spot? Ooh, Aquadome Market. Aquadome Market. Start off your cruise with a high note for sure. Actually, we talked about this earlier, but I know some people that were not here at the very beginning. There's no updates. One thing that we've noticed in the last like 2 or 3 hours is some people have reported that their shore excursions in Labadee have been canceled. Now, the actual stop in Labadee has not been canceled, but they've heard or gotten an email, hey, your fishing, your snorkeling excursion, that's been canceled. Is that a sign of things to come? Or is that just a sign that, hey, we're just going to make sure that nobody leaves the mainland of Labadee? I don't know. To be determined. Big guy, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for all you do. Looking forward to Navigator, Open Solarium, and not flying to port this time. Only 5-hour drive. Dude, when you can drive to your cruise port, it's such a great feeling. I mean, listen, I'm all for we're doing Europe next year, and I'm very excited for that, actually. And that does involve flying, which I hate, but I'm excited for that, right? But being able to drive to your cruise, and more importantly, big guy, when the cruise is over and you just when we're at the airport, you just drive home, it's a great feeling. It really is nice. Let's see here. Calvin, our friend just recently booked a trip on Symphony with us, but early dining is full. Is there a way to get the dining together? You can have your friend ask to be put on the wait list for early dining. That usually comes in. Let's say, Calvin, it doesn't. You get to the cruise. That wait list never came through. If that's the case, Calvin, you go on embarkation day and you go to the main dining room and ask to speak to the head waiter. In my experience, either the wait list or asking to speak to the head waiter will usually get they'll work it out for you. Unless, of course, you have like, a group of 20, that's hard to make work. But if you're going from like a 2 to a 4, 4 to a 6, something like that, usually not a problem. Next question is from Kristen. Chops versus Giovanni's for celebration dinner on Freedom. Ooh, Giovanni's. It has the new Giovanni's Italian Kitchen on there. It's fantastic. Giovanni's, without a doubt in my mind. Tracy, on Alert, what places can we eat on Embarkation Day for lunch without the ultimate dining package? Sorrento's, Windjammer, Park Cafe. Windjammer, Sorrento's, Park Cafe. Cafe Promenade has some food, but I would really, you could go there. I don't know if you're going to find anything you're going to like there. But those 3 places are probably where you're going to want to go. Josh, if check-in time is 11 a.m. in Galveston, how long of a wait is it actually before boarding the ship for Harmony? It really depends on, Josh, when the ship is cleared by local authorities. Because Royal Caribbean can do that pretty quickly on their end, what they need to get done. But usually, Josh, the hang-up is, Customs and Border Patrol needs more time to look at something. Sometimes they're just like, yeah, whatever, you're good to go. Sometimes they want to do more in depth. Occasionally, there's a Coast Guard inspection. Usually when that happens, you get an email like, hey, we're going to need more time for it to turn around. Anyway, the point is that usually it's by 11 a.m., I'd be more surprised if the boarding process has not begun yet than if it had, if that makes sense. Michael wants to know, what's the best way to get to Maho Beach? By the way, you said San Juan. Maho Beach is not in San Juan, right? It's in St. Martin. Just throwing that out there. But the best way to get to Maho Beach is a taxi. Don't book anything. Don't book a specific tour. You walk out the gate, or before you get to the gate, usually plenty of taxi drivers. They take you there, no problem at all. Let's see. Next question is someone really make this username. And by the way, Tony Diaz, I know it's you. Thank you for the super chat. Listen, if the printer is paying me money to keep it down there, I'm keeping it down there. I'm just saying. Jessica Devoto, thank you for the super chat. What's a good lunch spot on Embarkation Day on Harmony of the Seas? Park Cafe. Park Cafe, vastly underrated. I would definitely recommend that. Ainsley, thank you for the super chat. Now she's asking if pack snacks and carry on or checked. It doesn't matter. As long as drinks are a problem, Ainsley, but I would say it really does not matter at all. You can make an argument carry on is better simply because you don't like, if it's like chips, they'll smash them and get mixed up. So yeah, that's what I would recommend right there. Are you going to be on Voyager in Europe next year? No, we have a group cruise, Michelle. You can join us for it over on Independence of the Seas. We have a beautiful 8-night cruise on Independence of the Seas out of Southampton in June of next year. It's going to the northern European cities. Absolutely fantastic. I'm really digging this itinerary. It's going to go out of Southampton June 21st, and it's to be visiting Oslo, Copenhagen, Hamburg, and Rotterdam. Like those, I've never been to any of those places. Unbelievable. So yeah, it's if you want to join us for it, Michelle, go to royalcaribbeanblog.com/events, and you can fill out the form and join us for it. What happens if a kid can't make it on the cruise and repricing is more expensive? No show without the kid. Or, Mari, if you want to swap out, like let's say you have 4 people in your cabin and you want to remove person A and add in person B, name swaps don't incur a fee. But if your thing is like, listen, we don't want to name swap. We want to go from 4 to 3 people. Don't do anything. Just no show with the 4th person. They get to the terminal, they're like, all right, where is so-and-so? And you'll be like, oh, they're not coming. And that's no problem. They'll refund your port fees and taxes for that person. You obviously won't get a price adjustment for the person that's there. Their fare would have been paid. But it's still better than your alternative here where repricing is more expensive. So there you go. Let's see here. MT, is Royal Caribbean going back to building smaller ships after Star of the Seas? The answer is probably. Royal Caribbean has hinted at this idea that they are working on plans for a new, smaller, and you use the right quote there, smaller ship. There's no detail. We don't know anything about it. And other than there is an idea out there that hopefully Royal Caribbean has said we will get an update sometime before the end of this year on it. But how small is small? Anyone's guess. Don't know about that. Be warned, Maho Beach is tiny. Be warned, Maho Beach is a tourist trap. I love airplanes. You can ask Pilot Dave about that, but I am not a fan of Maho. I think it's like cool for the first like 3 times you see it, and then it's like, okay, what? It gets old quickly, in my opinion. Let's see here. Michael, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, that was weird. Let's see. And then we're already over an hour already. Holy smokes. We have run out of time there. We have time for 1 or 2 more questions, guys. We're going to head on out here. After boarding cruise, you think they'll have any luck getting added to a specific excursion time slot to join friends? Possibly. I've had luck with this before in my in my experience, Adam. But it really depends. There's no telling. I would say it's worth asking, but don't assume anything on there, quite frankly. So, yeah. And the printer has a boyfriend. I think Astro is a boy, but it doesn't really matter. Anyway, last question is from Scott. We're going on Anthem in May, leaving out of Southampton. What is the best way to get from Heathrow to the port? Should we stay in a hotel the night before? Yes, stay in a hotel the night before, then take the train. I did this before. Super easy, Scott. There is the National Express, which is a bus service, but the train is so much easier because it runs on a schedule. There's no traffic. So I would definitely recommend the train. Super simple, 100% the way what I'd recommend over there. So, all right, guys, on that note, we're going to head on out of here. Thank you so much for joining us here. Amazing level of support here tonight. You guys are amazing. I don't know what to say except for thank you to all our super chatters tonight. Michael Tofil, Ainsley, Jessica Devoto, my printer, Big Guy, Jason, Cruise 465, Mark, Lauren, Legend, Lisco, Bailey 7, Brittany Lang, John Wagat, Holly Mommy, Gary Bembridge's number 2 fan. I still laugh every time I see that name. Mike Scudero, Mandy, TC, Ainsley again, Lucy of the Seas, Ronnie, the Teresa, Pork Chop and Biscuit, New and Old Funko Pop, Dave E, Bill, Martin, Bailey 7 again, Brittany Lang again, Lucy of the Seas again, John Lusk, Shoshana, Susan Westfall, Audrey Bauer ×2, Nick Wong, Tom Stidman, Ronnie again, Jamesy, Jessica Beth, Ann Whipple, Lauren Legend Lisco again, Nicole Lombardi, Michael G, Robert Carmody, Ian, Micah, Desiree, and Matthew. Guys, thank you so much for all your support and help. Thank you. I'll be back again next Monday on Wonder of the Seas. We will be live on Wonder, if you can believe that, next Monday right here on YouTube. Until then, guys, have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. Bye, everybody.